how you all doing? Mike Bradley, hope you're doing well as always. Improvisation is a massive thing for a guitar player to be able to do. And this can be for lead stuff, for rhythm stuff, whatever. If you're a regular viewer, I kind of touched upon this last Wednesday in my Q&A video, and someone asked about improvisation and I gave some little tips on it. But today I thought I would just dive in a little bit deeper with it. Like I was saying, it is a big thing, and it kind of sounds hippie-ish, this, right? But it's true that music is a language. And the more you learn about music, the better your vocabulary is going to be on the instrument, okay? So say you're a blues guy and you really want to get heavily into the blues. Listen to blues players, listen to blues songs, blues artists. And because if you think how we started speaking, you know, we learned to talk from our parents, you know, so we kind of, it was almost like an oral perception. We kind of listened to them as we were kids, and then we kind of just learnt and blah blah. And then of course as you get older and you start reading books or whatever, or watching certain TV shows, and certain words come into it. I remember I learnt the word obtuse through watching Shawshank Redemption. That's how I learned, and now obtuse is in my everyday, well not every day, but you know what I mean, like, you know, I picked that up probably, I don't know how old I was, 28. No. But you know what I mean, like, so. But you know, we're learning new things, you know, and if you want to get more and more into kind of proper literature and all that kind of stuff, you can start reading some really, you know, hardcore English literature books, alright? Anyway, but what I'm getting at is that you want to absorb into it, you know, so if you want to be if you're a metal guy, okay, now I'm not a metal player, you know, I used to really play fast all the time, and sometimes it comes out, but yeah, you know, like, but I was never a metal guy. But if I wanted to really study metal, I would, you know, start listening to early Metallica and Pantera and Anthrax. I don't really know, you know what I mean? But I would start listening to that to get that in my playing for that malarkey. What I'm going to predominantly talk about today is blues, I think, because, you know, for me it's the most expressive and almost vocal-like on the guitar. All right, but like I said, it's not all about lead playing being able to improvise with. Of course that's what we automatically think, you know, but also it's knowing your chords, about to come up with a rhythm and a chord progression on the spot, which is exactly what I want to do right now. But I'm going to do it with one chord. So the reason I'm doing one chord is just to show you how kind of musical you can be with just one kind of vamp. Well, I say one chord, I'm going to do an inversion. So I've got an E minor 7, and then I'm going to take these two fingers off, and then that way you got a D over E. Okay? Right, now I actually have dug out my old loop pedal for this, so let me just put a little loop down for this. Right, so there's my loop going there, right? Just that E minor 7 D over E thingy, alright? But now could go on all day with that, alright? So that was just one chord, and I was literally making everything up. I don't think I played a lick on there. I might have done the old, I can't play some kind of, no, you can hark back to Chuck Berry or T-Bone Walker or something like that. Anyway, so, but I wasn't thinking of licks, I was thinking of, you know, music, trying to be musical with it, alright? And there's a few things I did as I was playing. I thought I'll throw that in now, because everything I was playing I was hearing in my head first, and I think that's the main thing. It's getting to the point you can play what you hear in your head. So just like if you're reading music, you know, I would say to people, like, you always want to be looking one ahead. Now I'm not the greatest reader, but this can be with tab as well. If you're reading tab as you're playing, like, it's got 5 and the next note's 6. When you're looking at 5, when you're playing the 5, you want to be looking at the 6. You always want to be one step ahead of yourself. So when I was improvising there, everything I heard in my head, I was kind of one ahead. Right, okay, now I'm going to go here, now I'm going to go there. And there's one bit, I don't know if I smiled, if you could see it, but I was certainly smiling internally. That kind of out there kind of playing, you know. So I had the loop going. I won't put the distortion on, but that idea, you know, I heard that. All I'm doing is going, turn off, you contraption of doom. so all I'm doing is playing E flat minor pentatonic over E minor, right? That's all I was doing there. But I heard that outside playing, and I thought I'll throw it in. Now on paper, if you've got, actually it sounds alright, actually, isn't it? Even like that. Alright, so all I'm essentially doing is E flat minor pentatonic over an E minor groove, alright? So on paper it can be wrong, but it depends how you play it, alright? So I did it in the way I heard that. I heard that. So that's another thing as well, and I've mentioned this before in my videos, you know, try and actually sing what you play. Which can be daunting, and you can, you know, shut the door, shut the music room, whatever, you know, so you're on your own. It's a bit high really, but so if we go back, let's do G minor, alright? Just play G minor pentatonic and hum the note. So just do that up and down and really listen to the notes. Right, but really listen to them. Don't just, no, no, listen to the note and get used to, you know, giving it a good wiggle, which is vibrato. Now, if I lay down a little G minor thing, okay, it's a G minor idea, right? So that is called playing out of time. Okay, we don't want that. All the years I've been teaching guitar, that's what I get, right? You don't want that. So I can play the same thing, and then so I'm just going down the scale, stopping on certain notes, and it's kind of sounding musical. Now I'll try and sound a bit more musical with it. Let's not start at the beginning, let's start on the G here. going down the pentatonic scale, right? But it's how I played it. And now I did it in a cool kind of rhythm there. Just doing that, right? And of course, and I just saw myself in the screen on the camera there, I'm moving my body when I'm playing. I'm not static and just staying in one position. I'm moving, I'm grooving, I'm listening to the music. I'm locked into the beat, and that's what you want, okay? So go on, you want to know your pentatonics? I'm into shape 2 now. Oh, sorry. Bit of gain. Leaving space is important. When I'm just talking right now, I'm leaving space when I speak, you know, and again, I'm hearing this all in my head, but when I was doing that, oh, that's all. And stop. Let the note ring. If you've got a beautiful sounding amp like this bad boy and a good sounding guitar and whatnot, and you know, 2 pedals going on, just so you know, I've got a Boss SD1 and a mini Spark Boost, in case you're curious, and of course the Hampstead and the Strat. But you know, like, let that reverb ring out, you know, so. Now I did kind of a fast thing there. I don't know what it was I did some fast pick thing. But then because I was leaving space and, you know, kind of, I had that G minor thing in my head there. I didn't have any backing, but I had it in my head. When you kind of play a faster passage, it kind of bang, it kind of smashes them in the head, like, have that. How'd you like those apples? You know what I mean? Like, you're like, come on, have that. And then you're kind of back in the groove again. If you just had all the time, it's like, you know, first song of the set, yeah, that's cool. Second song, I want to go home and watch Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same, but it's now and then. And a lot of my favourite guitar players are like that, you know. I mean, in a jazz sense, actually, Michael Landau, phenomenal guitar player. He's one of my favourite. I think he's a lot of people's favourite guitar player. He's awesome, okay? And, you know, watch that guy, and, you know, a lot of times, he ditches it, uses his four. He doesn't ditch it, it's kind of in between his fingers, you know. But then if he's playing with space, he's listening, he's grooving, like I said, moving to the music. But then when he puts something quick in, you know, it's like, oh, fuck, what's that? You know what I mean? So, yeah, and that harks back, listen to your favourite guys, you know. So, Mike Landau, great player. For this field, no, rocky blues stuff, or bluesy rock really. Mike Landau, Robin Ford, again another one of the greats, Larry Carlton, and even, you know, if you are a bit more of a heavier rock guy, a guy who comes to mind is Steve Lukather, and he kind of mixes that jazz in with the rock. You know what I mean? Like, his hero is Larry Carlton. That was his hero. So, and you can hear it, he does a lot of that kind of outside playing, you know, but he's got a rock tone, you know. He's, who's he with now? I forgot, Bogner, I think he's with, you know what I mean? So he has a lot, he plays with quite a lot of gain, but it's very tasty what he does, you know. He puts melodic minors in there and all that kind of thing. So, but anyway, that's a theory point of view. What I'm getting at though is that you can still be a rock guy and put in this tasty playing. John 5 is a heavy metal guitar player, but is a massive country player as well. You see what I mean? So, what have you learned? What have you learned? That's a very good question. So, space, okay? Don't feel you've got to play all the time. And then if you're new to improvising, take your scale, alright? But don't just be, you know, have your groove. And groove it. And also, you don't have to start at the beginning of every damn box. Alright, so if you're there, don't start there. Start in the middle, F to G, right? Going down the scale on paper. That's what I'm doing, going down the scale. But the way I'm phrasing it makes it work and makes it sound musical, and it makes it sound cool. Do you agree? So I hope this helps, guys. I hope this gives you some ideas. Nick everything and anything you can from what I've been playing today and use it. You know, I don't know if I could have easily said, right, here's lick 1, here's lick 2, here's lick 3, but that's not improvising. That is just, you know, getting completely, what's the word I'm looking for? Regurgitating. There's the word. You're regurgitating what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, here's my food, eat it and then spit it back out. It's the same crap. So, literally. So, yeah, you don't want to think of licks all the time. Like I said, I wasn't thinking of any licks there. I made up all my licks I just did there, and now I've completely forgotten them. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying now, as I'm talking to you now, I'm making up what I'm saying, basically. You know what I mean? I know inside what I want to say. I'm saying it to you. I can't remember what I've said to you word for word, though. You see what I mean? It's the same thing. So, have fun with it. Oh, and of course, backing tracks. There's loads of backing tracks. How I started was, you know, guitar magazines. I used to get Total Guitar. I used to get Guitarist magazine. Mainly Total Guitar when I first started playing. And I always had a blues headline, or headlines, I should say. And, you know, it was like F sharp minor, or A minor, or A major, or whatever. And I would, over that month, just kill that backing track, playing to it all the time. And then next month I'll get another magazine, same thing. Now you don't have to wait a month. Go on YouTube, there's thousands of backing tracks. You know what I mean? You can buy some, whatever, alright? Or get a loop pedal and make your own. Like I say, I did all this with essentially 2 chords, or 3 chords. E minor over D, and then just playing a G minor. Alright? And I was making music out of it. So, really hope this helps. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and also if any of this does help you, and if you can speak better than me today. Anyway, I've been Mike Bradley. Thank you very, very much. If this is your new video, or first video of me, subscribe, and I'm getting ready to salute. So take care, Mike Bradley signing out.